Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Rev 22. It's so good to see you. Wow, wow. We have some things to talk about today. Since the last time we talked, what was it? The last week I try to do more than one video a week. It just depends on how much workload is going on with the family and with the ministry. We started up Rev 22 meetings again last week, Friday. We are currently at a hotel. We have two a month, and we just get together, we fellowship, and we talk about the times and seasons that we're in, or whatever the Lord has called me to preach that night. So I have a very important word for everyone today. I've been very active and busy on Patreon, which is why I haven't really been here on YouTube, because there's been a lot happening in the economy, and there is a lot more that will be happening. And the Lord has really been downloading to me how this is playing out, when before it was all kind of blurry. But let me just back up before we get to the economy and what the Lord is showing me, and how it is not plugging in to the rest of wealth transfer, YouTube, prophecy community. I'm seeing a bigger picture of this. I'm seeing a macro picture of this. But back in 2017, there are some new people on this platform. So let me just briefly tell you, we were in a bad spot. We were in a bad spot. My husband was an addict of 17 years. We had lost everything 3 times, and this was the third time. Right before the house was foreclosed and the cars were getting repoed, the house sold and I was able to pay car payments. So we ended up selling the house and the cars were saved, but we moved in with his father. And it was maybe 600 square feet that we utilized in his house upstairs for a family of 5. I was the breadwinner at the time, and my husband was looking at a 15-year prison sentence. Long story short, not a day served. The Lord was so amazingly good, and miracle after miracle happened, and we're in the ministry today. By the way, I was preaching to ever who would hear me, still walking through the biggest hell of my life, trying to put on a happy face, trying to pick everybody else up from the pit, and I was walking in the pit myself. It was embarrassing. There's a lot of people knew that was happening in my life, and yet here I was, this preacher talking about how good Jesus is. I've been doing this a long time. Joseph, totally a Joseph in jail moment, pleading that Jesus is good and God has a plan. 10 years later, I'm here teaching cryptocurrencies, because back then the Lord started telling me things about what was to come, that there would be a new system that would rise. And it was starting off with this cryptocurrency. At the time, Coinbase was available for you to purchase cryptocurrency, but they only had 2 things at first. They had Bitcoin and Ethereum, and that's it. They eventually added Litecoin, and then the rest is history. You can buy almost anything you want now off Coinbase. So at the time, I think Bitcoin was maybe $500, Ethereum around $75. $500 was a lot to me, and I still didn't understand this market. I never bought Bitcoin. I tried my hand in Ethereum. I was just trying to figure this stuff out. Why? Because the Lord told me to. The Lord said there was something to this crypto thing. I needed to learn it. It had to do with the B system. And so I started doing it. The rest is history. Fast forward to now, 2025. This family, my family personally, has made a little fortune in the cryptocurrencies. And I have taught and still teach that you are not late, that this is the way that the system is changing, and get in now. We're running out of time. Since September of this year, so this has kind of been what we've been doing on Patreon. It used to be the Wild Wild West. It still kind of is, because there's no regulation yet, but it is brewing. In 2026, we should have regulation. But before that, and I talked about that in Patreon Tuesday when we had class, we meet every week. We'd love to have you. It's a mentorship class where I teach you how to invest. I don't teach you what's going to pop first or what's not going to pop first. I teach how to be a good investor. It takes time, it takes patience, it takes strategy, it takes wisdom. But before this year of September on until 2017, we had this pool of cryptos that really you could just kind of throw money at and you would do well because the market was so new. We had assets that would just go up and then they would come down, and another one would go up and they would come down, and all of these things. September changed a lot in how the Lord was talking to me. I'm not shocked because that was around Rosh Hashanah time, and it seemed as if my revelation about where this was going as it refers to the Lord's return changed. As in, I started understanding at a fast warp speed that if we didn't get into certain assets, regardless of the price, that we would be out economically, okay? And it would be harder and harder and harder to catch up. And nobody else seems to be talking about this. I see it so clear. Where before there was a pool of assets that everybody was buying, and it's the XRP, it's the XLM, it's the Shibas, it's this, it's that, meme coins, people having dreams, it's going to go to this price, it's going to go to the brat, all this kind of thing, chaos all over YouTube about a wealth transfer. Let me tell you this. We are in the wealth transfer now. It's not coming, it's here. The problem is that many, many people are looking for an overnight wealth transfer. They're looking for a price point. They're looking for a flash crash. And they're not seeing the big picture of what's being built right underneath their nose. I talked about on Tuesday in Patreon that it's starting to zoom and clear up about what the powers that be that run the banks, that run the world, the billionaires, the trillionaires, the institutions, what they are choosing to run this world. It's not just one of them. It's not just XRP that you can just buy it and hold it and you're going to be a multimillionaire. That's not the truth. That's far from the truth. That's not accurate. And that is a deception. Going after meme coins and believing that something like Shiba is going to go to $1 is a deception. There is so much deception the Lord is showing me in this wealth transfer conversation that Christians and non-Christians know is coming, that if you don't have the righteous idea and the big macro picture of what is happening, the wealth will be transferred, ED, and you will still be looking for the wealth transfer and not even know it, that it's already been accomplished. Right now, today, as I record this, we have a Fed meeting and Jerome Powell will be dropping interest rates. He's going to continue to do this through the end of the year, and the quantitative tightening is going to loosen. And it's going to send an economic boom for the ones in the right positions. It's going to send an economic boom for the ones that see the assets that have been chosen that they're choosing to build on. You have assets in this digital community space that are just for mortgages. You have some that are just for infrastructure. You have some that are just for AI. You have some that are just for the banks. The Lord told me this is no longer about digital crypto, that I was no longer teaching crypto. I was teaching the system of the beast. This is the infrastructure of what will be used to control the masses. So you say, why in the world would I need to be in that, Lauren? I'm a Christian. I don't want to be in the beast system. No, that's exactly why you need to be investing in it, so that you can have the tools you need and be limitless financially to be out of the beast system. You don't need the beast, the mark, because you have your own system that you built as the Lord has directed you, kingdom built, and there's no reason that you need the system. You have your own because of the capital that you were able to acquire with the wealth transfer that the Lord brought in before the system was mandated on the masses. There's going to come a time where everybody who chose not to learn this and learn it correctly with strategy and understand the assets that they're choosing to use as a collective force, not just one, not just XRP, not just XLM, not just pick one of your choice, not just a Shiba with the news, that maybe MasterCard. These are all fallacies. It is a network that's going to be webbed together. And if you don't have a strategy and a percentage of all of these, and learn the systems to compound the wealth with these? Did you know that there is an entire network that's being built that you can hold your assets that triple compound your return instead of just holding it in your wallets? Do you know how to lend from them? Do you know how to borrow from your crypto assets? Do you know what they're for? As of right now, people have just been collecting, just living on a prayer that they'll turn into multimillionaires. That's not how any of this works. Everyone, I'm stopping work today just to give you a quick little info on how we can serve you and how we can best deliver the message to you. We are in a time right before the Lord's return, guys, and things are going to get darker and darker. And we really would love for you to be blessed by what this ministry is trying to convey to everybody that will hear. And that is, Jesus is coming, life is changing, there are two rails running, the great and terrible day of the Lord, and we want you guys to be prepared. Over here, you'll see where you can find your tribe. This is a database that our ministry has been working on for the past 2 years, where you can click on your state and a slew of churches will pop up in your area. If you don't see one close to you, just hang tight. We are adding new ones every week. We are working as hard as we can to find those churches that are working in signs, miracles, and wonders, for one. For two, have the Spirit allowed in their churches, the Holy Spirit, allowing Him to come in and just do what He wants to do, right? Non-religious, non-traditional churches that are there to serve the King of Kings' agenda, which is you. You're the agenda. Thank you guys for being a part of the tribe. Like and subscribe. If you want to help us and become a partner, if we've blessed you in any way, wow, that would really, really help us out a lot. And also too, these tools, master classes, mentorship classes for the economic shift to come. We want you guys to be ready. We want you to be the head and not the tail. We want you to be prepared for everything the enemy's going to throw as we wait for our beloved King of Kings to return. So welcome and back to the scheduled program. If it was that easy, then everybody would be billionaires here in the next few years. It's not going to happen that way. Joseph in the Bible had strategy. Joseph saw in the future what was coming, and he got there before everybody else. Joseph was patient. He was disciplined. He was consistent with what? Stacking up the assets before the famine. Most people in this community are people that see what's ahead. They are not consistent or patient enough of doing the same thing every single week to accumulate. They're in this asset or in this asset, out of this asset and back in this asset because they're trying to catch the next pop, not understanding where any of this is going, not understanding the percentages of each asset that you should be in. How many of you are in Bitcoin? A lot of you would say, I'm not, it's too expensive. But what if I told you that there won't be any more to buy for the retailer? And that specific asset alone will be used for mortgage lending. And if you don't have any, then you'll be at the mercy at the ones that hold it all. There's a short window for us to acquire these things, regardless of the price. It'll go Bitcoin way past $1 million. You don't have 115,000? Fine, buy $10 worth. If you don't know what you're doing, come to Patreon, because I'm telling you the average YouTube video out there is not telling you the correct way, because the rest of the world in these videos, they have a micro view instead of a macro view. And a lot will be out. We also have a situation, as I'm recording this video, we'll see how it goes, where a dream that I had probably 4 or 5 years ago now of food theft. I had a dream where I walked out of the grocery store and happy because of the things in my cart that we should be able to find in any grocery store today. It was like Cokes, cookies, some chips. I was happy. And in the dream, I was thinking to myself, my kids are going to be so excited. We haven't had these things in a long time. Oh, wow, I can't believe I found them. I get to my car, and just the split second that it took me to grab my keys out of my purse, my cart had been stolen by a mother and daughter team. Were running off with my cart. Running. Just that quick. Taken in the parking lot. We now see that the food stamps and the entitlements are possibly going to dry up on Saturday. And we already have people on TikTok and all of these reels that are starting to pop up, which they're telling on themselves. And they're probably being reported to the authorities. So there's no wisdom here of what they're doing. Telling people that they will be punched in the face, they're going to steal their groceries, try them. You know, if they're in need and they see someone full of groceries, able to pay, they're going to steal the food in the parking lots. This is where what we've become. This is why the Lord asked me to teach about economic stability, not being dependent on anybody to take care of you. Faith without works is dead. The Lord takes care of his own, but if there's no work and labor partnered with that faith, then your faith is dead. There is no help for you, and you are depending on others and the government to take care of you. And then, what if the government shuts down? Like it is. And there's really no sign of it returning. Why? Because it is to squeeze and hurt the president. The Democrats know exactly what they're doing. I had a prophecy before Trump got into office that he would come into office, he would be elected, but they would do everything in their power to destroy him. If they couldn't get him federally and in prison through the justice system, because all of their trying was completely ludicrous, false, bogus, and weaponized the justice system, then they were going to get him economically. They were going to get him economically. And they're doing that. By shutting down the government, they're making it so that an economic crash, the food supply chain, the people who can't get their entitlements look at him, Trump, and blame him for the problem. This further puts to proof of when I said that the gap financially between the poor and the wealthy was growing further and further apart. That there will come a time where there is no middle class. It'll only be the poor or the mega wealthy. There will be no middle class. The new middle class, you'll have to be a millionaire to be considered middle class. Food prices are not coming down. Housing prices, if they do, maybe 20%, but they go right back up. We are headed into a complete reset, and this reset has to do with digital currency. But it's not just XRP, and it's not hoping that Luna Classic or Shiba goes to $1. That is a fallacy. Will it? That's neither here nor there. That's not wise investing. That's not wise strategy. There's some bones that the Lord throws us every once in a while to create capital. I believe in seed coins. I've taught seed coins, but there's also a strategy behind having these seed coins. If you don't know how to invest properly, you don't know what you're doing, you're going to be lost in the beast system, wishing and wondering, what, Lord, did I do wrong? And Father, help me. We can't pay the bills. We can't eat. The churches will be completely stressed and overworked trying to get food to people in the community. If you go on the street on a normal day and you ask someone about Bitcoin and you ask someone about XRP, they look at you like, what are you talking about? That's a scam. I ain't investing in that. Or they don't even know anything about it at all. Food lines will be so long and people will be camping out for days just to get portions or rations to them and the rest of their family. But it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't take a genius to look at all of this, especially today with the government shutdown, the entitlements, the SNAP benefits, the handouts that are drying up. People are already starting to get very angry. And when people get hungry, they get violent. When people get scared and they can't pay bills, they get violent. The victim mentality, the victimhood rises in people. Instead of being accountable, instead of asking, how do I acquire wealth? What is happening? How is this changing? What do I do? They become victims. They become angry. They start fighting amongst themselves. It reminds me of an old prophecy by Dmitri Duderman. He has now gone on to be with the Lord, but back in the 90s, he did a tour around the different churches, whoever would hear him, talking about the invasion of America, that the fall of America would be started by an internal revolution started by the communists, that we would be busy fighting amongst ourselves with entitlements and things that are drying up, communistic issues, socialistic issues, that the invasions in our country and in our schools that had taught all of the last generation how to be communist, then the invasion would come while we were fighting amongst ourselves, while we were preoccupied within our own country. The invasion of the Caribbean nations, China, Russia, Nicaragua, were coming in. Now, I don't know when that is. I believe we have a very strong president and we have a very strong military. But it doesn't look like this cancer of communism is going anywhere anytime soon. And the beast system is all about totalitarian communistic control. And there is one that's rising more than any of them, and that is Islam. The Islamic ideology is the king of playing the victim. Woe is me. Help me. We're a religion of peace. But they come in under this. They dominate communities. And they begin to push in their ideologies that is incompatible with the U.S. Constitution. They have, or any other democracy, France, United Kingdom, Australia, although Australia has been way more socialism for many years. You can hardly do anything there. You can't even say anything or you're going to get arrested on your social media accounts. I mean, this is where the entire globe is going. Jesus is returning. I would really encourage everyone to understand how close we are to the biggest economic disaster, worse than the Great Depression, is upon us. Do I believe it's this year? No. I believe that we have a year and a half to maybe 3 with the end of Trump's term. I don't know. I think that it'll fall on his head, this great economic depression, and he will for a time try to patch it up, maybe with the old prophecy from not John Kilpatrick, John Paul Jackson, where he merges Canada and Mexico financially. Like we become almost like the euro, but not the euro, the American euro. It's not perfect, but he gets it flying. I don't know. But I do know that the reset into digital is happening right underneath everybody's noses. And while people are still trying to make it go to the casino with crypto, the slot machine with crypto, trying to think that they're going to be an overnight millionaire with Shiba or these penny stocks, they're missing the transfer. What is the transfer? We talk about this in depth in Patreon. I really encourage you to come over. I really do. You have to invest in yourself. Invest in wisdom. The Bible says, buy for yourself wisdom and do not let it go. Buy it. I bought wisdom. I asked for wisdom. I continue to read. I read almost a book a week about different topics, financials, cryptocurrencies, history, Bible always. I also spend a lot of time in resources of people who know more than I do, who have gone before me. You can either choose to take 10 years learning this stuff, or you can pay the price to learn it within a day, a week from someone that's gone before you and already given their time. I'd rather the shortcut. If there's someone that has it and it doesn't take me 10 years, I'll buy it. It has taken me 10 years to understand this crypto space. It has taken me years to understand what the Lord is saying about the B system and how it integrates with this digital AI world. He shows me more and more every week. I encourage you to be a part of a community that knows what they're talking about. Not just a dream that fuels hope, false hope, that wasn't even meant for you. Did you get the dream? The dreamer got the dream. Wisdom. Great wealth is being transferred. It's not coming, it's here. And if you're struggling, it's because you may not know what it is that you're doing. Find that tribe. We'd love to have you on ours. If not ours, find someone who knows what they're talking about as far as strategy goes. Not this dream, that dream. I believe one day. That's not a strategy. All right, be blessed. The Lord is coming. Know him as your Lord and Savior. That's the safest place. And then get busy working the assignment he has put on your life. Works, faith without works is dead. Amen. See you later. Bye.